Today we're going to talk electric brake controllers, that little black box of mystery underneath your center console somewhere. And who better to talk to than Wayne from Redarc to give us the lowdown on how these devices work. Hi Wayne.
Hey Tim, how are you?
Good mate. So what is an electric brake controller?
So essentially a brake controller is a device that sends power down to a set of electromagnets in the wheels of a trailer, and that applies braking force to the trailer to assist the vehicle when towing.
And when do I need an electric brake controller?
So anything over 750 kilos requires some form of brakes, and from 750 up to 2000 kilograms you can have hydraulic overrun brakes, the old style we used to have.
Yep.
And then from 2000 and up you do need either electric over hydraulic or electric over air. Some vehicles like marine applications, boats will often have electric over hydraulic, where you have an electric feed from your brake controller, supply power to a device on the drawbar of the trailer, and then that runs a pump and converts the braking force to a hydraulic activated brake.
So how do electric brakes differ from mechanical?
So inside your electric brake drums there's a machined face, and on that machined face it's some electromagnets, and those magnets grab onto that face and apply brakes by pulling the shoes out when you apply more or less power to those magnets. Mechanical brakes are purely just a cable or a hydraulic scenario that's forcing the shoes out.
Okay. How does a brake controller work?
Okay, so there's different types of brake controllers, but effectively when you send power down a wire to the electromagnet, you can increase the amount of power or decrease the amount of power going to that magnet, and essentially give more or less braking force to the trailer to assist the vehicle in stopping.
Okay. Are they wired to the brake signal on the trailer plug?
Yeah. So there's actually, every vehicle's a bit different, especially with modern vehicles. There's some places you can't just go to the trailer plug, you can actually damage the vehicle, you can cause fault codes to come up. So the reason we brought out the wiring kits is for that reason, to allow more modern vehicles to be fitted easily.
Okay. So what types of brake controllers are on the market, Wayne?
There's actually a number of different brake controllers on the market now, and traditionally the earlier models were what they called a manual or solid state brake control. So they effectively had a set level. When you touch the brake, you trigger the brake control and you got whatever you had the brake control set at. That could mean that amount of power when you're doing 60 kilometers an hour or you're doing 100 kilometers an hour.
Right.
So you would have to be very interactive with the brake control in different speed zones and turn it up and down. They were effectively better in situations like off-road though. They're quite good in the off-road applications when you're climbing over boulders and there's a lot of jerking and swaying of the vehicle, and that allows the brake control just to have a nice set level to allow you to do your forward driving and all that sort of thing. So manual mode's quite good for that as well. The other one was a manual mode with a time base, so what they call time base, and that's effectively a manual brake control that has a timed delay or ramp up of the brake power. So that would be a set figure, maybe 0.8 of a second from the time you trigger the brake control. Again, it doesn't change for different speed zones, you have to change the intensity yourself. And the third one is proportional or inertia based, basically the same thing. So they either had a pendulum, like a weight that would swing in the brake control and measure the force, and you have to set that brake control quite level. And then the more modern ones, like the tow pro, we use accelerometers, a little chip, and our great designer here uses a 3-axis accelerometer, so we can measure forces in 3 different directions and triangulate the force. So, and that will measure G-force or negative G-force when you brake in the vehicle, just like you feel. The brake control measures that, and because that G-force is proportional in its ramp up and down, your brake power output is proportional in its ramp up and down. So it creates a nice smooth braking action.
Right, okay. Do inertia controllers need to be mounted in a specific spot in the vehicle?
So again, some of the very earlier ones, they had to be quite level and all that sort of thing. The Tow Pro is the only one that can be mounted in absolutely any position, allowing you to hide the main unit up under the dash, and then we just get that nice little dial on the dash. It's OE look on your vehicle, so it's not like a big box you're going to bang your knee on, and allows the installer different opportunities to mount in different locations where it's going to give them a better fixing point, stuff like that.
More practical.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I know what brake controller to buy?
Essentially, you would look at what's everyone else using and why. It's like any device you buy. You do your homework, you talk to people, and the Tow Pro has become a very popular brake control because of its ability for installation, but also its smooth braking action. It's got a lot of world first features in it, so that allowed us to really dominate the market in that. But yeah, like anything, you do your homework, ask people what they use and why they use it, read forums, and I'm pretty sure you'll come back to this one.
Okay. What do I need to factor in when making a choice to buy an electronic brake controller?
Okay, look, at the end of the day, it's about safety, you know, and you want something that's going to keep you safe on the road, going to do the job well. Is the company that or the brand of brake control you're buying, are they very good with support, technical advice, things like that? And, you know, is it a popular brake control in Australia? Because you ever need to take it out or get a part for it, like that, you know, there's a good chance someone in North of Queensland and the other pit here is going to have that brake control on the shelf because it's so popular. So those are the things you put in. You know, how well known is it? All those sort of things.
Okay. My tow vehicle has stability control. Now, as far as I know, the car applies brakes through the stability control. If that system is working, does that apply brakes through the electric brake controller to the trailer at the same time?
Right. So it really depends on the vehicle and how the brake control is installed, and whether that stability control is triggering a brake light circuit or a brake circuit in the car that's also triggering the brake control. It's such a varied question. It depends on the installation and the vehicle at the time.
Really,
so no given answer for that one.
Really vehicle specific.
Yeah, it is very vehicle specific and installation specific as well. Cars don't really have something when the car's swaying it applies the brakes, but caravans do, and that's ESC.
Okay.
Cars also have like traction control or brake assist, you know, downhill brake assist features and things like that, where they do. But often
so how does that work with electronic brake force distribution then?
Yeah, so things like downhill assist on, say, a Hilux or something, it's often done through the engine or through the transmission, not actually through the brakes. It doesn't apply the brakes. So if it's not applying the brakes, it's not going to bring the trailer brakes on.
Caravans come with ESC. Do I need a specific brake controller if my car has stability control and the caravan has ESC?
Yeah, so normally the ESC, the electronic stability control on a caravan, works independent of the vehicle's braking. It's more to do with the sways, and it measures a certain amount of sway in a caravan and it applies a brake to try and counteract that and straighten the trailer back up. With the brake controls, what you want to check for is that the brake controller you're using is approved by the manufacturer of the ESC in the caravan. So whether it's, you know, a Dextra
or an Alco
sway control system, they both approve the tow prod's been tested with both of those manufacturers, and it's fine.
Does it make a difference if the car doesn't have any stability control system and the trailer does?
No, none at all. The trailer will sway regardless, and if it does sway and it's got electronic stability control, it will apply the brakes if it's working correctly and straighten your trailer back up.
Right, okay.
And the brake control actually works independent of that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I know what it is and how they work. Let's focus on the Redarc Tow Pro Elite version 3. What's the difference with the new V3 model?
So there's a few small changes. Firstly, in the software of the brake control, it's actually smoother again with much heavier trailers. And the other thing was the head unit on the brake control, the little dial. It's much smaller. It's a single hole mount now, and we've changed to an automotive type cable between that head unit and the base, which allows for a better connectivity and more robust connectivity.
Okay. Can I DIY the install?
Look, Redarc would always recommend that you use a qualified person to install your brake control. That is a safety device at the end of the day.
So say I opt to do the install myself, what do I actually need to do the job?
Yeah, look, if you've got the ability and you feel you're up to doing it, we do have a range of plug and play wiring kits. There's a generic off-the-shelf kit for basic fitment, and then there's vehicle-specific kits out now. And it really comes into play with more modern vehicles again. Things like the latest Ford Ranger, which has autonomous emergency braking. You must use a specific wiring kit when you're fitting that brake control of that vehicle.
Yeah, you can't
to prevent damage on the vehicle.
Yeah, can't use a universal kit. It has to be specific.
Yeah, vehicle-specific one for that. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the average cost to fit an electronic brake controller, and where should I go to have the job done?
Yeah, look, I hear quite a varied price scheme out there, and it probably depends on the vehicle you have as well and how hard it is to fit to that vehicle. I hear anywhere between $650 and up to $900.
Right.
So it's probably best that you go along and talk to your local auto electrician, your four-wheel drive shop or vehicle accessory fitter, and get some quotes and see where you go from there.
Okay. So with inertia technology being at the forefront, do you see electronic brake control technology changing much in the future?
Yeah, at the current stage, this probably is as advanced as it gets.
Yeah.
You know, like in terms of it's so far ahead of everything else on the market. Look, we're always out there. We're always testing and looking at new things. And we've got a whole group of engineers and R&D team looking for the next big thing. So you never know. But at this stage, that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hopefully that's demystified brake controllers and you now understand a lot more about how they work and are better equipped to make a choice for your towing needs.